Hello and welcome to LCDC TV again. We've moved over. We was at Greenwich this morning. Now we've moved up to East Dulwich Grove, which is playing a major part with local residents protesting and organising against the LTNs. I'm going to be speaking to Maggie Brown, one of the main activists, I call her, regarding East Dulwich Grove. But first, we've got a resident here called Jackie, and she's going to tell you a story that I find quite shocking. Right, Jackie, I'm talking to you today because I've just been speaking to Maggie, and we can see that there's these great posters going up, local residents stopping the LTNs, trying to have a discussion and an educated argument with the council. But things took a turn for the worst outside your house last week. What happened?
We woke up last Friday morning and my husband noticed out the bedroom window that the sign had come out and was thrown on our car. So we have.
And what sign? Just what does it say?
It was the stop the road closures. So stop the traffic diversions. Yeah, the same as everybody, all the neighbours down the road now want them in. They're furious about the closures. But we have CCTV, so we saw quite a well-dressed man walking past our house, not late, last Thursday evening, spending a lot of time trying to rip the sign apart. And then when he realises he can't do that, he starts yanking it out and then he throws it on the car. Yeah, so clearly he really loves those road closures.
Blimey, that's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if it's that sign that I've seen in Maggie's house, outside Maggie's house, it's not antagonistic, is it?
Absolutely not, absolutely not. And there are tons of them, it's very clear. It's really affecting this road quite seriously. So, yeah, it was, quite bizarre.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much for sharing that, Jackie. Well, there you go. I mean, you've got members of the public now actually this criminal damage against people who dares to put a poster up outside their house saying that they believe in stopping road closures. I mean, it's getting very, very sinister, isn't it? As I said earlier at the start of the interview, I'm speaking to Maggie Brown, one of the main instigators between East Dulwich Grove residents. Maggie, tell us a bit more about what you're doing here.
Well, what we're trying to do is ensure that the people who live on East Dulwich Grove, and it's a very long road, and there's almost 270 residences all the way along here, and the schools, we're trying to make sure that the council understands that we have to have a reversal of this scheme of road closures because it's making everybody's life intolerable. You can see what's going on here. There are endless rows of school children and there's static traffic. There's increased pollution. There's a huge amount of extra traffic being diverted down this road because everything else has been blocked off.
Yeah.
And one of our big grouses is that we were not consulted. And more than that, the council, I think totally irresponsibly, and its traffic managers did not take into account that this was a unique road full of schools and school children. There are at least about 4,000 children, one way or another, being educated along this route because we have James Allen's Girls' School and a prep school and a pre-prep on the corner. We have the Allain School, which is a famous school as well, with a prep and big senior school. We have a new East Dulwich Charter School just beyond, right on the road. With there will be playing fields because the old hospital has been cleared right on the road, building up to 1,700 children. It's around about nearly 1,000 now. And we have a nursery, East Dulwich Grove nursery at the Georgian House, 105 children, some of them little babies, and having to use a garden literally fronting onto a road like this. It's an outrage. On top of that, we have a new hospital treating day patients, named after Tessa Jowell, the great Labour MP and bringer of the London Olympics to us in 2012. Right next to the school, with a lot of day patients who have to queue, go in there, wait at the bus stops in the middle of all of this increased pollution. And there's no proper data monitoring of air pollution or traffic being carried out by the council that we know of or that we've been shown. So yes, I can tell you, people on this road are furious. We have also just commissioned a poll, which we paid for, a professional poll, and I haven't got the full figures yet, but I can tell you more than 8 out of 10 people do not support this scheme, and they say reverse it.
Well, it's funny you say that, because everywhere that we go, when I travel around London, whether it's north, east, south or west, with the LTNs, Maggie, no residents support it.
Well, it's a very good example of how I think this will be a case study in years to come. Of course we have to be greener, of course we have to be concerned about the environment, of course we want to stop pollution, but you have to do it in a way that carries people with you. And it has to look fair, it has to look proportionate, and it has to be something that is consulted on and agreed by the community. None of those things happened here. And the unfairness of this scheme, the unfairness of pushing pollution and extra traffic down this road is just evident. You don't have to have, you just look at it and you can see it's happening all around you. And this is why I think it is doomed, because if you do not have a system that looks like justice, social justice, and given that we still live in a democracy, at some point we live in a democracy. We
I
do.
thought you said that. Oh, yeah, go on.
Okay, but at some point.
Doesn't seem like it at times, does it?
No, this does not. But I do believe in democracy, and I am just hoping that by protesting and having votes, certainly in the next May council election, and whatever happens, we're in the middle of a consultation now. We've been handed a consultation set of questions that are really biased, that we put to people who live in Dulwich who are experts in polling. And so we don't know what the outcome is going to be. And it's all attitudinal. It's not based on this has happened to your road. There's none of that. It's what do you think about this?
Buts and maybes,
yes,
really.
It's very, very biased, and it's also not fit for purpose. But we are trying in our different ways to sort of try to unpick the mess we're in by arguing about it and trying to present, a reasonable case.
Proper grown-up case.
Yes, well, that's what
it.
at least to be treated, fairly. And as it is a temporary scheme, we are hoping that there will be a reversal, or at the very least some big modifications going on. But I can't be sure of that. But that's why we conducted our own poll, and a lot of other roads have here too. And I think that we just are not going to give up on this, because this is absolutely wrong. I mean, if they go on like this with East Dulwich Grove, whether it's an A road or not, there's going to be a public health crisis here because of the level of pollution. If it's actually breaking the rules or the limits, the World Health Organization limits, which we believe it is, at the Lordship Lane end, which is appalling.
You've had your own monitors that you've been working.
Well, we didn't introduce those because we've come to this later, but people at the other end of East Dulwich Grove did raise £3,000 to put in their own monitors. And those are showing, apparently, that at the Lordship Lane junction with East Dulwich Grove, it's 60 micrograms of nitrous oxide per cubic metre, which is well over the 40 that it's supposed to be. And it continues down the road. There's an improvement in the middle, and then, of course, it gets bad down here again. So we've had to do that. Well, people have had to do that themselves, but we don't know if that will count with the council, because they don't really accept anybody's data. But we will continue in our fight, and we hope that we think we're in it for the long run. Actually,
got to be.
I don't think it's something that the Southwark Council have rather stubbornly dug in their heels. I don't think they are really going to want to reverse everything. But we hope that over time we can. We hope actually that we can help them avoid a public health crisis. That's what we really think.
Well, the thing that shocked me, Maggie, was that when you pointed out with the large number of schools down this road, I probably estimate it about 4,500 pupils, all different ages. There will be.
Yes.
And they feel fit.
Well, you can see them walking up and down the street all the time. Look at the coaches. The whole thing is just incredible. And it isn't just that they're walking; they're in the schools all day.
Yes.
And you know, the pollution doesn't.
The passing traffic is going to do it.
Pollution doesn't just stay in the road that's being polluted. I mean, it goes throughout, including the areas which are benefiting from the closures. The air is poisoned and increasingly toxic throughout Dulwich, regardless of what people say. People think we're against cycling and cycle.
You're not.
We're not at all. Or walking. No. I don't drive a car and I walk everywhere. But I avoid going out, for example, to Lordship Lane now because it's like going to Oxford Street.
So Southwark Council, in their infinite wisdom, think it's okay to ban vehicles from side roads and put it all on this road.
Yes.
With 4,500 young children at school. I mean, it will be.
Yes.
And it interesting, before I spoke to you, Maggie, and Jackie, I spoke to a janitor at the local school.
Oh, yes. And what did he say?
He said that they used to have the windows cleaned at the school every month, once a month, right?
Yeah.
But with the extra pollution that this traffic is causing, he has to have the windows washed every week. Every week. Yeah. So what is that pollution doing to these children's lungs? And if the mayor is serious about cleaning up London, he needs to get his backside down to Southwark and see the real state of what's going on.
The real problem is, you know, there's also other schools on Lordship Lane. There's the Harris School, and there's also one at Goose Green, a big primary, which literally abuts that roundabout. And they're claiming that it's going to be all right because we've moved the entrance round to, a closed-off road. But of course, the pollution doesn't work like that.
Does it?
And the school itself is right on the road, which is already breaching any of the health limits. So they're saying we'll have a green screen, you know, this is the new thing, the green screen would be. It's like I've got on my house, but this isn't the answer to anything.
It's like the new King's Close.
Well, what we say is really that it has to be completely rethought. We're not against at all changes to
this isn't working, is it,
But this
Maggie?
one is most certainly not working, and we do not appreciate the fact that our road appears to be almost like a replacement or an addition to the South Circular.
Okay.
That's what they've done here.
That's what this will end up as, though, Maggie. If
no,
it
it's
stays
not.
the same.
Well, we're not.
We don't want that. We really don't want that.
I don't think so.
Maggie, this is Southwark Council. People watching this in Southwark who might think, oh, I wish I could do what Maggie does. Do you think it's about time we had people power and residents and local businesses stood up to the local councils?
And I think we have a problem in that it's a council which is in the grip of a sort of group think about this. And they're so concerned to be sort of climate change, I don't know.
Tick all the boxes.
Well, I mean, you know, they really, really want to drive this global push, but they're applying it to a tiny slice of London in a very arbitrary way. And in addition, you have a council which is fundamentally a one-party council.
Yeah.
And now that wouldn't matter if the councillors themselves took it upon themselves to represent their constituency and listen to everybody. But unfortunately, that is not the councillors that we have. And in addition, we have an MP, Helen Hayes, who has worked for Southwark Council and has appeared almost in the early stages of protests, deaf to our concerns. She has started to engage, but it's clear that her sympathies and her allegiance is to Southwark Council, not to the people here who are protesting. So we're in a very difficult situation. You know, stand back, and what I would say is, which is really something that surprises me, I have no political allegiances whatsoever. Honestly, I voted. I don't vote one way or the other. I didn't start this as any political campaign. None of these people did. We're normal people. Okay, we're living in nice houses.
A normal life.
But we've been provoked. We have been provoked by the way we've been treated, the high-handed and just wrong way that we've been treated into forming a group. We never had a residents group. We didn't need one. We were all living our lives perfectly happily. Now everybody here,
you can see the traffic building up.
Yes,
look,
everybody's absolutely furious with what's gone on and the way that we've been just brushed aside. So if I'm like this, I just think there must be something wrong with the scheme, which both
Has
is,
caused this much angst.
and division.
If you've got a message to Southwark Council, they're going to be watching this. Everyone in London is going to be watching. What is your message to Southwark Council, Maggie?
My message is unblock the roads and rethink the whole scheme and make it a much broader traffic policy that makes sense for everybody and isn't so unequal.
I couldn't add anything to that, Maggie. Well, that's Maggie Brown here on East Dulwich Grove. The traffic's bad, the pollution's bad, but Southwark Council think it's the way to go. I hope you enjoyed the video today. LCDC TV. Go to YouTube on our channel, press the like button, subscribe, and as always I say, the comments, please leave a comment. You heard what Maggie said and Jackie today. If you've got a view one way or another, we'd like to hear it. So thanks for watching and please leave a comment. Thank you.